pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got money?
Yeah, I know.
All right, we'll open the assessors meeting.
If I could, I would.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the public. Got a pretty busy agenda tonight, so I'll go pretty quick. Just, you know, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. We've got a number of abatement supplements spanning 3 years. As you know, we can go back 3 years in certain circumstances. So there'll be abatements and supplements going back 3 years. First one is account 500, and that was billed in error. It was double billed, in fact. So, you know, transferred and somehow the bill for the former owner got out and recalled. The next one is an assemblage of parcels out to 636 and 637. This fellow assembled those two parcels into one third parcel and got an abatement.
Same thing with the next one?
No, this one here, the 773 and the 1536. Oh my, that goes back 20 years. That actually is a piece of, as it turns out, PG&E property. I'm sorry.
Is it what?
In Merrill.
Mirror property.
Electrical property that the lady who owned it, Green, she sold it or transferred it to the electric utility company out there behind McFadden's. And then a few years later, she transferred it to, and that really didn't get picked up on, and then she transferred it to her son. And
So who owns it now? Emira?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've been paying on it for 20 years.
Emira has?
No, the son. And
So he's
So
going
the
to
abatement
a
is
realtor
over
account
30
called me and said
here.
he was working with them to sell it and found out that he went back in the records and found out it had transferred to Emira 20 years ago.
Wow.
So it was one of those old deals that
So
didn't
this
get
is
picked up
3
on.
years worth of abatements?
Yeah.
It's going to be a very big property.
It wasn't a big parcel, so
Okay.
But he can only go back 3 years.
That's right.
yeah, I'll let him go back.
So 61.
Homestead exemption got picked up on account 61, and that's reflected down below for 3 years. Greens and home. All right. Got a number of these. 1380, land over assessed, and it was also over assessed in 2017.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Each one.
Some of these are dupes, you know.
Right. So I'm sorry, what was 1380 land over assessed? Oh, land over assessed.
Land over assessed. I finally was able to see what was actually there in a survey drawing, and the owner and I got together. We finally figured out what land was actually there.
And so parcel assemblage for 1327?
Pardon? Yes, that's one where it was a deed, but sometimes the transfers, in this case, the transfer didn't indicate multiple parcels, so we missed it. You know, and then the owner came in and we went over the deed and found out we had missed it. The last one there, 1924, that's self-explanatory. That conveyed the town of Lubec. All right. And this
Yeah,
is
but they didn't contain, this is the entire year, it's only half, there's only,
well,
did they pay it at close? I'm
yeah.
aware of this one.
This is the net, what needs to be, you know, written off.
Was,
Okay.
were they billed for the whole thing beside,
Yeah.
you didn't cut the property off?
This nets out the division right here, this number.
And so next year,
No, that's done.
this is it, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
in other words,
I thought when they, well, we'll talk about it,
whatever. Yeah,
because I just don't know, because this has to do with the, property behind the red house, and it was $1,800 there, approximately, give or take, what the new bill is gonna be. So I'm not quite sure why they're getting abated the entire amount. This is the entire amount of that whole property. When it was cut off,
I know, but I understand what you're saying,
Okay.
but it's net. In other words, that is the number that has to go away to get everything to balance out. All right, the math. Okay?
they're showing me,
It's just a paper transfer. In other words, there's no
There's
real
no money involved.
No money involved.
okay, they're not getting any money.
Oh, no.
Because we settled up with them at the close.
Got it,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
As long as no money's going out, I'm good with
There's
that.
no money going that way.
I have to watch the money.
This is just a mathematical exercise
Okay,
for the record. You can see the 27, and those are 2018s. You can see the totals, and then I've got some supplementals down there for 2018. There's a list at the back of the package. Yeah. And you're familiar with the supplementals that we do, the supplemental lists. They're
Yes, that's very good.
these things right here.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's the total,
2,831 supplemental, and the difference is,
4675.
right, somebody sign all these, right? Did you bring stuff?
These are the
Okay.
signature pages. There are the 17
Yes.
duplicate abatements, and then you can see the 16 duplicate abatements down below. All right. Any questions on these?
Oh, that was very very well done.
The second item on the agenda is we have received a formal application request for abatements for a total for 6 parcels. The applicant is Robert Tardif. The applications are dated January the 30th, 2019, and which means we have to do a board review and decision.
30 days, right?
No, it's 60 days, not later than
Oh, 60 days.
60. Now, the way the law is written, I thought I'd take an opportunity to share this with you, if I can find it. Main Revenue Services Property Tax Division Property Tax Bulletin number 10. This is the guiding light in terms of what are the rules regarding abatements and abatement requests, formal abatement requests. And this is Main Revenue Services, state of Maine. And it says that one of the things that you have to do is method of seeking abatement. Abatement request must be made with the municipal assessor or board of assessors. Now, I've gotten this letter, and the applicant sent a letter, and he sent it to the town administrator, didn't send it to the board or to myself, asking her, with due respect, I request that you reevaluate the town's valuation of my properties as a result of recent sales in their immediate location. Well, some of those sales were
Was tax acquired?
tax-acquired property
So
sales,
that's not
so
property.
they're not really, you
No.
know.
Yeah.
And furthermore, he goes, with due respect, I request that you, and he addressed a letter to Ms. Renee Gray. And so what I did is I indicated to Renee that she should send him these applications and say, please fill these in if you really want us to talk about it.
Yes, you did.
More than happy to consider it, which she did. So he sent these back, and it says in here, initial request, Maine tax law provides that a property owner who believes his or her assessed property valuation is excessive or illegal must seek relief through a written request to the local assessor or board of assessors. Now, the board and through me can handle abatement requests in an informal fashion. That is, folks call me up, they go, you know, bought this house last year, it's a tear down, would you come out and let me take a look at it? Or the house is really, you know, or the property has devalued, whatever, or increased in value, whatever. This request must be made within 185 days after the date the tax was committed to the tax collector. So all of the requests on here for 2017, 2018 taxes don't count. Those are immediately dismissed. They're way past 185 days. Okay? The 2018, 2019 period is fair game.
So we're only looking at 1 year.
Yeah, the request must state the amount of the abatement requested and the reasons for requesting the abatement. Though an abatement request must be made within the first 185 days for a taxpayer pursuing an abatement, the assessor may make an abatement on his or her own initiative within 1 year of commitment. In other words, of our own volition, we can say, hey, that's a fair case. That's, okay.
So how are you going to proceed with the different,
then it says,
ones?
and here's the further law, and this is for you as you consider this. The assessor or municipal officers have 60 days to respond to the property owner's abatement request. The assessor or municipal officials have 10 days to provide the taxpayer written notice of their decision once their final determination is made. So it's 60 days and then an additional 10. I put it not later than, to be safe, March the 20th or 28th. Okay, since he submitted these January 30th. If the property owner is not satisfied with the decision, he or she may appeal the decision as outlined in subsection B. If a decision is not made within 60 days, in other words, the boards of assessors don't have to make a decision. The abatement request is deemed denied.
Oh, okay.
And the
So
property owner
nothing,
may
it's
then
denied.
proceed with an appeal.
But
So,
this is like the second or third appeal he's made, isn't it?
Request.
over the last, let's see,
3 years,
no, the last 10 years,
10 years.
Yeah,
about 4 times now.
yeah.
In 10 years. yeah.
And you know, it goes on, but, you know, I'm duty bound to take a look at it and do my best to make sure
Well, that's very
that
good
we're
of you,
being
but
fair.
But how many,
my thought would be, what part of no didn't you understand? You know?
let
Well-
me ask you a question. When, with all these different lots, when we had that, de-evaluation of a lot of the real estate back in 2008
Yeah.
and 2010, did any of his properties, were any of them reduced at all?
Yes.
So you've already, in good faith, reduced some of the,
Yes.
so that's
I
something that we
reduced
need to
every
know.
one of,
Yeah.
It's not like
We
it
did
stayed the same.
Yeah,
yeah, in
And
other
you
words,
did it more than once, I think.
yeah, I did.
yes.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you get a house
Yeah.
that was on the market for $1.3 million. I had the ad from the New York Times. I had it assessed for $670. He put it in abatement, and this is public knowledge. And I finally told him, look, if you go get a certified appraisal, a used PAP, you know, standard for appraisal practice from a legitimate appraiser, I'll set it for that. So he came back, and the guy appraised the big White House out there for like $400,000. I set it at $400,000.
Yeah.
He had it on the market, and today it's still on the market, or at least it was for like $600,000.
and you've already adjusted, every single one of these requests have already been adjusted at least once?
I'm going to verify that.
Okay.
There may be some unbuildable parcels that he now wants adjustments for. They're not buildable. They're assessed at 25%. That's the standard assessment for an unbuildable parcel in the shoreline zone. If in that neighborhood a parcel assessed for $80,000, has a buildable shoreland lot of standard size. If it's unbuildable, it's gonna assess for less than 25% of that. Because you can probably put a trailer or something.
Yeah, can you sell an unbuildable lot?
Sure you can. You can sell anything.
Well, what do you can put on there, a trailer?
It depends on where it is. You know, it depends on.
Okay. So will you, my suggestion would be that we would ask Jim to review the 5 abatements and to come back with us with the history of each one as to what he has or hasn't looked at and what he's already reduced so that we can make a better determination.
Sure.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Can we do that for the next meeting?
Yes,
In 2 weeks?
that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Well, we're on the same page then.
already scheduled here, right?
Yes.
So, fine, but we do need to make a motion on all those abatements and
Yeah,
supplements
I
and sign.
so moved, we need to move to sign the abatements.
And second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Yeah.
So we'll also make, I'll make a motion that we table the decision on the abatement request till the following meeting.
Yeah.
We need a motion on the,
March.
second,
20th.
all in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Did we get that, Renee? All right, we're good, we just sign things, paper. We'll sign all the abatement things now.
Have fun.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Don't give yourself.
And
time
sorry
to
you'll
come.
have, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see much with all the snow, but get your little snowshoes on.
Oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
okay.
Oh, and one last thing. The maps were completely updated this year, by the
The
way.
town maps.
The town maps, I got them updated, right before Christmas, so they're all, as far as I know, I mean, there were quite a few, I kind of let them hang fire for about 3 years now.
They look really good.
So, okay.
Thank you very much.
No.
We'll close the assessor meeting and, oh, we gotta do that. Open the, select board meeting. We just have to sign a few papers. We need a motion to close. My right-hand person. So, Ann, do we have to make a motion to close the assessor meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, second, all in favor? We don't have to make a motion to open up this other one, though, we don't.
Oh.
No. We're not, there's many more signatures, keep going. We're getting sloppier and sloppier.
You know, when I used to watch other selectmen do this when I was sitting at home, I thought, what a boring job.
My teachers always told me, I started sloppy and I just stayed sloppy, so I'm not going downhill.
We made a motion and a second and a vote to close the assessor meeting. I'm not sure, but just Rachel and Joanne, I guess.
Yeah.
It's always a good choice there.
Didn't tell you were a school teacher.
Oh, really?
You have beautiful pennies.
Why, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was 13.
Oh, yeah. It's bad now.
I should have been
Everybody wants to sing the national anthem, can get up and sing it now. Oh my God, somebody's son, one of the,
How do I get?
supplemental list, this must be more of them.
We're gonna move on to stamps.
There you go. Yeah.
we understand.
Yes, you will have to understand.
Somebody has to spell my name.
Where's your name on it?
It's A-E-L. It periodically goes, somebody does A-E-L and then somebody does E-L.
It's E-L, right?
It's E-L.
Oh, no, I thought we were done. These are the cover pages for the supplemental, the signed ones are going around. We'll take all those signed ones back when you're done, Jason.
Well, we're putting them right in the pile for you.
Just dipping right through here.
Okay. Well, while we're signing things, who would like to make a motion to sign the warrants?
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, do we have a second?
And it.
Oh, all in favor? Okay.
While we're signing that, how about approving minutes? Anybody from
Are you sure
February
you don't
20th?
have mine?
I don't know. I might.
What are you looking for?
No,
I have all
checked
this
my-
other.
Two more days. What are you looking for, my dear?
That's
We're
all right.
looking for a
You-
motion
I'll
to
look over
approve the
here.
minutes, a motion to approve the minutes of February 20th as written.
Somebody's got two.
So moved. Second? All in favor? Okay,
Okay.
old business.
Are we going to pass?
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna start signing somebody else's name here. I swear to God, just for the-
Were we gonna put them as your old business? Do you wanna do that first, or, oh, Wanda, maybe Wanda wants to do her ad. Wanda, are you here to give us a, or Sonia, you here to do a ad hoc AOS feasibility the resignation? What's your other?
Oh,
You're on.
thank you. I just wrote up a little something, just to
Oh.
update the board and
Oh,
update
here.
the town too on what we're trying to do with this, so I wrote up something. And especially for the town because, the state created RSUs and AOSs. And it was mandated, I think in 2010, for cost savings factor in, administrative costs. This consisted of superintendent, director, special ed, and transportation. Also, they had central office. At that time, when towns didn't join, they were fined $50,000. Presently, there are no fines for dissolving from the AOSs. We joined AOS 77, which included 11 schools, back in 2015. Was that when we, but anyway, and there were 11 schools at that time, and 2 have already dissolved from that. Of the 9 left, presently, 2 schools, 1 may dissolve or close. At town board meeting last summer, it was mentioned that we should get out of AOS. Some members, including myself, of town people created the Lubec Feasibility Ad Hoc Committee. We had petitions signed by 100+ citizens, so there was an interest to pursue this. It is made up of 7 members, for which 1 has resigned due to conflict of time. You guys had encouraged us to do it at 6 o'clock, but it didn't work for most of us. And we had 2 at 6 with maybe 2 people attending. We had 1 at 4 o'clock last week and we had 6 people come.
So,
But
Wanda,
it was a time conflict.
my understanding, if you can't really remain at 6, you'd either have to get a 7th member, or you'd have to drop down to 5, with one of you being an alternate, because you cannot have an even number on the
Okay,
committee.
thank you. Okay.
Wanda, I've been asking this for a while and I still don't have a straight answer.
Yeah,
What does the AOS do for Lubec?
okay. Well, what it was created for, Rachel, was to save money for administration. So in Eastport, we have our superintendent director, we have special ed director, central office, and we're supposed to have transportation director, but I don't think we had that for too many years.
Yeah.
But it was the state wanting that cost savings.
I don't get how they save money. I don't,
Well-
that's the part that I don't get.
That's one thing that we're gonna research and do some fact finding
Yeah.
on.
sharing services, sharing of
Yeah, so they
services.
should-
Okay, but
That's
that's,
how you
see,
save
that's,
Yeah,
if that's what I, in places that I've been,
yeah,
the district office, which
Yeah.
is what we usually called it,
yeah,
would provide things to the school
yeah,
in the way of enrichment or enhancement classes for the teachers, or there would be materials available to them, they would bring in speakers. I mean, there was always something going on.
this
And-
is different, Rachel, I was,
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
like, now, all of these schools, we all put in a portion,
Yeah.
but it's according to how many, students per school.
Sure.
So like us, this year, we're paying $102,750, but it changes every year because of student population,
Yeah,
And towns.
in towns, yes.
Yes.
And, they change yearly. And one thing, like, we have contacted, a superintendent from another school, we've contacted Maine, school management, and they've given us, you know, how they, you know, dissolve
yeah,
from their AOSs or RSU.
yeah.
And they did it just like we're wanting to do it, it's for local control that,
Mhm,
and for our identity, we were always SAD 19.
mhm.
And the only reason we're not SAD 19 now is because the state mandated this.
Yeah.
Or we, you know, we still would have been.
And it seems to me, just because I've never had a straight answer about what they do for you,
Yeah,
that they're obviously not doing their job. And that they should be a benefit to the local district. They should help you. They should make your life easier. I mean, the teachers, you know, whatever. One of the ways is that when you order curriculum, if you've got several towns
yeah.
ordering the same curriculum, you always get a deal from the publisher, if you're ordering in bulk like that. But it doesn't sound like they even do
No.
that.
We don't, Rachel. Now, it's been brought up at their meetings before, even on fuel.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
we all did, you know, and I'm not gonna say it hasn't happened that way, but
Yeah,
these are the same reasons these other schools are doing it. Millinocket's done it,
Sure.
Waterville, Augusta, Winslow, Callis, Robbinston,
yeah.
and, I'll just finish this. There are, board members are happy to answer any questions. It's something that we're pursuing and, you know, we're committed to doing it. We'd like to update the board, you know, at different times, and we want the townspeople to know. We don't have, any dig in to get anybody, but, you know, our town deserves it. We were SAD 19, I can't remember how many years, but for all of my school years, and I'm 66, we were always SAD 19.
We never
So-
gave up our status, we're still SAD 19.
Yeah.
We are.
We never gave it
Well,
up.
the
Yeah.
thing is, I would suggest that you might want to write to somebody at the state level as well.
We
That you
have.
say, you
Yeah.
know, these are things we're expecting and we're
Yeah.
not getting them, we haven't got them.
Yeah.
Because they might be able to step in and serve some kind of help.
Well, now, I mean, fortunately, you know, we wouldn't have to pay a fine. I mean, now
Yeah.
schools can dissolve if they want to.
Well, it's obviously a thing that's happening around here.
Yeah.
And so if they should take a look at it, they'll know something is bad.
Yeah.
Something's rotten in Denmark, as they
Yeah.
say.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the office, over in, Eastport, I mean, they're so efficient. I mean, they really are, but that's another thing. If you go down to that school and say, I'd like to get a record on something, you have to go to Eastport to go get it. You know, I feel even our paperwork pertaining to Lubec should be here.
Sure.
But if you have any questions, Sonia's been on the board for 20 years, and we have Stephanie who's presently on the board, and
Yeah,
we appreciate your comment.
sure.
So,
Thank you.
Wanda, did you as a board accept the resignation? Because it came to us, but we deferred to your committee.
We didn't talk about, we talked about it, but we didn't like vote on the resignation or anything. It was
We have to
submitted to
vote
you
on it.
guys.
Oh,
It's your
So
end.
your recommendation is for us to accept the
Yes.
resignation? We just wanted to hear from you before we
Okay.
did, we tabled it
Yeah.
from last week. So
And it's a time conflict.
who would like to make
Yeah.
a motion to accept the resignation?
I would move that we accept the
Stephanie
that
Page.
the school board accept the resignation of Stephanie Page for this ad hoc committee.
Second, all in favor? All right, well, thank you very much. We'd love to hear from any opposed. No, we had no opposed. So we have, I'd say let's go to the marathon request and then we'll go take the food sovereignty. Patiently listening to all those statements, Maureen. I know you've worked all day long.
I'm feeling warmer already.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time tonight, and I'll be brief. I gave handouts earlier that just sort of summarizes some notes, but very little has changed from, or really nothing has changed from previous years other than the date. This year it's Sunday, June 23rd. So my goal here tonight is just to formally ask for approval for us to have the event. On the second page really outlines the gist of what we really need formal approval for. Traffic and parking arrangements, Public Works Department, their great assistance, and the Fire Department and Traffic Patrol for emergency management.
Is this the 7th or 8th?
7th.
Isn't that lovely?
We remember it when.
Yes.
We're on
we
track
remember when it
to
wasn't.
have approximately 700 runners and their family and friends, which has been kind of our average for several years. So we're maintaining a lot of repeat, but new people all the time. So.
And didn't you say that, what's her name that was the winner?
Oh, Sarah Mulcahy?
Sarah Mulcahy is now on the Olympic committee?
She is, I don't know all the details, but I think Joan may know she's the Olympic trials. She's
wonderful.
She's not necessarily a finalist, but she's qualified.
She's qualified.
That is just great. That's newsworthy, John.
Oh, absolutely.
So we need a motion to support.
And she runs every year and
Yes.
usually wins.
Yeah. So do we have a I will, I think I can make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve to go ahead with the event, approve the traffic and parking arrangements as described above, assistance with the works department in laying out public works and picking up barriers and cones as alternating Canadian and flags. And then they have to come down. We do take them down right away, right?
That's a long motion.
Yeah.
Well, all of them, assistance from, well, you just have to say refer to
Just
that.
as usual.
I'm just
Yeah.
reading, I'm
Yeah.
just reading this. You want to put that in there.
All right.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor? So just make sure that.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all your support for Marathon.
Thank you.
And
Well,
I'm
Maureen,
sure-
are the flyers, the little flyers are gonna be passed around
Yes.
town, this is great.
Yes, and Carol, we have you on.
Oh, yes, yes, as long as I'm not, you know.
Yeah, I always get that, you know. in public,
6 feet
so-
under, I'll be doing it.
Awesome, thank you.
Volunteer party at my backyard.
Absolutely.
Okay.
filling in for Julia this year. I'm at the finish line.
Oh.
Oh, the finish line's fun.
Yeah,
Recruit those kids.
Thank you so much.
all right then, so we're now gonna go back to, so we had some additional old business, which for the food sovereignty ordinance. And yeah, Felicia here, you wanna come up and talk with us?
She's usually gonna make photocopies.
I did have a question, because I know I read both ordinances, the one that the lawyer suggested, our lawyer, and the one that Karen Burke suggested, and I read it. I actually noticed that the definition and what we could do was a little bit conflictual when I was reading it, but I had thought she had taken it from other prototypes of other towns, so my question to you is, our lawyer had said that it's not consistent. The definition is of course that doesn't help like one of us, but processing face-to-face where it's being processed. But did she get that other clause from the Chias? That's my question. So,
Karen or
yes,
our lawyer?
Karen.
I don't know where Karen got the clause, but I printed the main Food Sovereignty Act. So we actually have the verbiage that's like
Okay.
at the state level, and there's nothing at the state level. So I've got the lawyers,
Real quick.
so I should have copies, I'm sorry.
They have copies of the lawyer email.
So this is the lawyer email.
So I will
Yeah.
read it.
Okay.
See
Got
that.
that, got that.
So if you look at the lawyer email, I'm sorry. So she specifically says direct producer to consumer transactions. Absolutely, that's in the second line. In the third line, she references 284. And in 284, which is
Right
highlighted
here,
there,
284. I'll just
So,
read.
yeah.
It says Home Rule Authority. Pursuant to the Home Rule Authority granted to municipalities by Title 38, Section 3001, and by the Constitution of Maine, Article 8, Part 2nd, and notwithstanding any provision of the state food law, to the contrary, except as contained in Section 285, a municipality may adopt ordinances regarding direct producer-to-consumer transactions, and the state shall recognize such ordinances, but not enforcing those state food laws with respect to those direct producer-to-consumer transactions that are governed in ordinance.
So
So you-
specifically, in what you just read, she adds at the site of production in her email. It is not in them.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'm formally arguing with the
Yes.
municipal lawyer.
Yeah.
So, cool, and I understand where she's coming from. And it is a little cloudy, so you can interpret it in different ways. So here's what I did. So she put that there. I think it's a protection. My guess would be that's a protection mechanism for a lawyer to protect the town. Like, she's adding words, peeling back the intent. That's my version of what.
So it doesn't find its way into a store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I called the Maine Federation of Farmers Markets. Worth noting, we're not officially a farmers market, we're an open air market. But I wanted to find out what other farmers market, like how people, like these are all the official people that really have farmers markets, and like cool, like how do they handle it? Like
Yeah.
what are other municipalities doing? So the guy that answered the phone at the other end of the line at the Augusta number there, escaping, his name's on a post-it note on my desk, but he told me that it's kind of split. Like some municipalities are basically adopting the verbiage, like the draft verbiage, and just plugging in the names of the towns, which is what I believe the original version of what Karen submitted.
With a boilerplate,
Yeah, so like,
Where, and she got that where again? I'm sorry.
She copied it from Machias, I think.
well, she had a Machias version, what
Yeah.
they adopted, and then there's also a hyperlink that I forwarded back to you too, of this, it's the food sovereignty, it's like the original, the originators of the food sovereignty verbiage. They posted a draft version on their
And did they
website.
have
And that
farmers
came out of
markets in
Augusta.
there?
That came out of Augusta.
Yeah, okay.
And what is that, and what did that say?
Oh, it didn't have this, what our lawyer said.
Yeah.
So, so when I talked to the Maine Federation of Farmers Market contact,
What they say?
so I read what the town's municipal lawyer had said, and he said, well, that's a pretty common issue. He said, so some towns adopt it and say, cool, go sell, whatever, and some towns do what our lawyer is saying and say, like, we have this additional clarification and you can't sell. So the key, as far as he was concerned, was the interpretation of what site of production is. So we can choose, according to him, of course, he's not our lawyer, so I understand, like, the pull to do what our lawyer says, but she's already added more verbiage here, so I'm not really in her camp. But we can choose as a municipality to say that Lubec is the site of production. So, so for example, I
Broadly, your
can,
definition
yeah,
of
do
site
that.
of
my
production.
farm is in Lubec, and then
Yes.
I can pickle beets. I can
Yes.
take them to the farmer's market. I still maintain the
Yeah.
producer-to-consumer interaction.
Yes, as
move.
long as you're
And
there
smart
selling it.
That
I think so.
really from, I think,
like
the town's perspective, like the liability's still on me. Like the
Yeah.
whole point
Yes.
is that somebody's buying something from me, and if I
Yeah.
make you sick or something happens,
The only
You're
thing
back on you,
Yeah.
we have, this farmer's market is almost like a regional market. We've got Tide Mill down there.
so
Tide
Tide Mill,
Tide
so
Mill's
it's,
probably
meat
been
is
totally
exempt.
Like,
resolved.
say it again?
Meat does not, yeah, you weren't here when we talked about that.
Yeah.
Meat doesn't count,
Okay.
dairy, was dairy on the list? I'm
And
not
it's
sure
not a
about dairy.
farmer's market.
And it's not a real farmer's market.
So the reason I specified that is the contact that I spoke with was from the Maine Federation of Farmers Markets.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you look, and it would take me a minute to find it in here, but when they lump like farmers markets together, yeah, they talk in general terms about, and this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not very big. This is why you can you can extract different meanings out of this because it's not very wordy.
Farms, I'm sure it's gone through all the regulations.
Oh,
state
yeah, I have no
regulations,
doubt
so that's
about that
completely
at all.
different. This is for a
this
small
kind of-
Lubec
Oh.
producer.
This is worth saying. Okay, food or food products. Food or food products means food or food products intended for human consumption, included but not limited to milk, milk products, meat, meat products, poultry, poultry products, fish, fish products, seafood, seafood products, cider, juice, and acidified foods, and other canned fruits or vegetables. But then it goes on to say, and it's going to take me a minute to find it, you can't bypass food processing laws regarding meat.
Yeah.
And also, because people know that I'm interested in making hard cider, alcohol is not in this at all.
See, I think the dairy came up because we were discussing the, what was it, Blue Hill?
Tide mill. So tide mill
Tide
is
mill.
not in the
Milk. Was it
municipality
milk?
of
And,
Lubec.
no, I think this whole thing started with that guy who wanted to sell raw milk at a
Right.
farmer's market. That's
That
how it
is
That's where
started.
it came up.
Remember?
That's where it came
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and it just seemed silly at that day, and everybody was saying, oh, come on. So, yeah,
So we have to change the verbiage to say
I'll tell you,
processing is the maintenance,
The first draft
was
was,
fine.
was good.
Yeah.
The second draft was kind of.
It was lawyered up.
Well, it was
lawyered
just a
up.
Well, no,
boilerplate
the
lawyer
second one
version.
Karen put in
yeah.
was totally different. It included meat, selling meat, fish, and all that. And she just read it right there that, you know, you still have to go into state law to do that. The vegetables and
Yeah.
Is that what
cooking.
you read?
Well, and lawyers start using verbiage to
Right.
cover themselves from people who like to use lawyers to, you know,
Exactly.
sue people.
No, I mean, for her to cook beets
Yes.
or
Yeah.
something.
Sure.
I don't have, that's
Yeah.
great.
So who this wouldn't, let's say we drop the verbiage about the location.
Do you
Where
have
is that one?
Karen's
Like
version?
within the food, site of
The site of
production.
production. Let's say we drop that
See, I
verbiage.
have it somewhere,
It
but
still
Karen's
doesn't
version.
help, like if you're familiar with the Lubec market, Lil Buddy Farm is not in the municipality of Lubec.
Yeah.
They wouldn't qualify.
Yeah.
They can't pickle beets and sell
Yeah,
them.
I live in Lubec.
Yeah, so like at our market, it's myself, it's Alba and Nancy,
Right.
yeah,
Dick and Jean,
Yeah.
But it also,
Lubec residents.
it also
Yeah.
said that it benefits, there were others, it wasn't just the
So it's-
Lubec market, it said.
yeah, so you could have a church
Like
function
a
and
craft
have a bake
fair
sale.
or.
Oh, that was the verbiage I was
With
just
the
looking
craft
for.
fair,
I'm
right.
struggling to find it because I didn't highlight that one. But it specifically says in here that it's not church function that they use because they.
Here, and this is what she has, local foods, foodways included but not limited to farmers markets, buying clubs, and community social events. Farm-based sales, home-based sales. This is
Oh, yeah.
Karen's
yeah,
draft.
yeah, and it seemed fine at the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
But if we wanted to just use the, our lawyer's suggestion and add that for our definition of face-to-face production, that we are encompassing the municipality of Lubec, I liked your idea.
Yeah, just pull, like all she's got to do is pull that verbiage out that limits that, or she could change it to, if she wants to
She
lawyer,
may
do the
not
lawyer
agree to
stuff.
do it, but I
And
think
put verbiage in that says, the face-to-face interaction could be anywhere in the municipality of Lubec, right? Like that would also make me happy.
Yeah.
But I think it would serve a lot of people. There's other people,
Yeah.
for example, that would sell baked goods at our market or at other places that aren't
There
gonna
are
go
people
through
that
and
do,
don't have
sure.
the capacity to go get an inspected
I
kitchen.
think
Yeah.
the main
Well,
thing is
and
you're selling face-to-face, and if
Yeah.
you're selling face-to-face, you're saying, look, I made this, and if you have a problem with it, and you probably need to have his phone number or something on your product, so that you can, I mean, I know
I'm
that's
not
some
looking
kind
to
of.
sell fish and meat and
No, we can, I don't care if we drop that out of there, like, that doesn't.
That makes me
Because
nervous.
you'd have to go by state law with that.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
should just be
And you have to
farmer's
have a
market
commercial
can't.
fishing
And
license,
the
and you have to,
processing
like,
and all that, yeah.
all of that
And-
stuff still applies.
You know, and the thing is, I remember at the beginning of the farmer's market, there was some hoopla about insurance, remember, and all that stuff. And it just, I thought, you know, the farmer's market is such a wonderful idea. And then people have to go sue everybody.
Don't let
It's just,
insurance into it.
it's like, it's hard to
But
believe.
we do carry insurance,
Yeah,
and if for the market, and each individual vendor is also required, so I have a general liability rider off my.
And
homeowners,
Audrey
yeah.
needs to say that it does not include store retail sales. I guess it would.
Yeah.
that's a whole different
You
ball.
lose, so, in my mind, that
Unless
is
you
out
have to own the
because
store,
it-
thank you very much.
we're very specific, yes, if you own your own store,
And you're the
and
only
you're
one
in the
there.
municipality
Yes.
of Lubec, then, and you're the one selling it, because you maintain the face-to-face
Yes, that's what I'm
Yes.
thinking.
producer to consumer,
So the IGA
which
or
is very
whatever.
specific. So,
Yeah,
like, I can't go sell processed food to IGA and then have them resell it.
Mhm.
I can't sell.
Without a state rate
Right,
requirement.
yeah, I have to go through all that. I also can't sell, because everybody knows I supply Coe Hills and probably gonna supply the brewery this year. Like, I can't process anything and sell it to them for resale.
Yeah.
Like, that's not at all what this is intended to
You
cover.
can sell things you grew,
Yes,
vegetables and
unprocessed.
unprocessed
Produce,
food.
yeah.
See, I'm good with this draft right here.
Yeah, okay.
The second one had the meat
I
and
think-
fish, and I wasn't.
Just to bring it up, like,
Where's the meat and fish in this?
It was in another
Yeah.
draft.
This one
that
says
you
meat
did.
and fish, right?
We-
It's the second one, right?
sent it was my understanding, based on our conversation last time, that we sent it to the lawyer because we were concerned about liability for the town.
Yep.
And maybe, like, that, I guess that's what I remember, that was the
Do
reason.
you have Karen's in front of you now, this
and,
one?
yes,
The
and
first
in
one.
all
It does have-
honesty, we didn't think it was
It
gonna
does
become
have in
this
section
huge.
2D.
Neither did I.
No,
I think we
I
sent
mean,
it to the
that
lawyer
was
for
like-
approval.
yes,
Yeah.
we thought it was gonna be like an
She
instantaneous
just,
thing,
just gave us a different
and then
one.
it just
Right.
became.
Do you wanna take
crazy.
meat or meat products, poultry or poultry products, you wanna take that out, is what you're saying, Jason?
Well, you can't buy, it says right in what she has, you can't bypass the state anyway. Like
Well, did it
David-
say it in this
David and
one?
Holly, they have to have all these licenses.
They have all their licenses and
You
all that
can't
stuff.
just come off the street and sell fish to somebody, you gotta get
Right.
a license.
Yeah.
You can't bypass that,
And
no
even
matter
in,
what we sell.
even in the original legislation, at the
Right.
state level, the chapter that's adopted, it is very clear that you cannot do that.
Right there, the one you
Yeah.
read is, yeah.
The one that Karen first gave us on,
Yeah.
section 2C, at the end of that, why can't we just put, all right, so a face-to-face transaction involving food or food products at the site of production of
Being
those food or food products in the municipality of Lubec.
at the site of production,
Right.
which would be, and then put in parentheses, the municipality of
In the,
Lubec.
in the
I-
municipality of
Further
Lubec.
define the
Why
site
are
of
we putting
production.
site of production?
That's part of the
Because-
original
That's-
chapter.
Right.
Because if you
So
don't
you
do
could
that-
also put F as an alternative. You could put F and say site of production or is defined as the municipality of Lubec.
That's
Okay.
what I would do.
Okay,
All right,
yes, good
yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
That, I think, would cover it and be the
Cover it
easiest
for us.
verbiage.
Yes.
You know, which one?
But do you want, so where in this one does it say that you have to follow the state laws to sell seafood? I do get a little nervous about seafood and
She had it right in the,
D.
because the deal
yeah.
means. well,
Fish or fish products, seafood or seafood products.
So there, so we are exempting them from,
Well,
State.
Felicia just read that. you
but she
cannot
read it, but is
exempt
it in this one? This
No.
is the one we're looking,
No.
it needs to be in this one.
You can't sell fish and meat without a state
So-
license,
yeah.
period.
Yeah.
That's what
e-
she just read.
Yeah, like you can't, even if we put it in an ordinance,
Yeah.
we
You
still
can't do it.
couldn't legally
The,
do it.
Right.
the state trumps you.
Yeah, it would be like me selling alcohol. The popo would show up and he's like, nah, nah.
Well, as long as
Or
F,
should your sliders sit
as
on
long
it?
as
Or
F
it-
doesn't
yeah.
follow the same thing, they come and say, well, we said the site of production is where it was produced, and we're redefining it as it's defined. We're making it less restrictive than the state, I'm not sure we're allowed to do that, that's all. You're not allowed,
We picked up on this last time, I remember, it's the definition of local foods does not include the meat or fish. And that's what everything else is pertaining to,
Right.
the local food.
Right.
See, this local food, the definition explains that it's produce, grown and produced. But food or food products
Yeah,
is meat and
I like E, see, we like that, because it says you produce it or process it in Lubec and you sell directly to either farm-based sales, home-based sales, traditional foodways, including but not limited to farmers markets, buying clubs and
See,
community
it's
social
down
events.
here, like on page 2, section 5.1, produces,
Yes,
this is to do with local food, and then
Yes.
that's the definition of local food. It doesn't have anything to do with meat.
that's right.
Now,
Site of production of local food is defined as the municipality, is the
Yes.
boundaries of the municipality.
Okay, so you gotta tell me the whole wording, because I gotta,
Site of
site of production.
Site of production is defined as defined as within the boundaries of the municipality of Lubec.
Mm-hmm. Within the boundaries of the greater Lubec.
Okay, I like that, Greater Lubec
It's
sounds
greater
good to me.
Not,
Then we
not
gotta
just the
define,
hub
then we
of
gotta
Lubec.
define greater.
yeah.
Yeah, I would just leave it as Lubec because then someone could argue Trescott and then I'm not sure about the liability of that. Thankfully, I don't.
Leave that one out.
Okay, so, you want me to
Yes,
add
leave
this
that one alone.
definition? Do you want me to resubmit it to the lawyer for her blessing?
No,
Well, no, I think she
No.
has
No,
thrown
I'm
it
good
out
with
now.
meat, fish going out of it.
Yeah, I think that's,
That's-
yeah.
And we'll have to have, we're gonna have that public hearing on May 1st and
May
then
1st.
and the special
Okay.
town meeting to adopt it.
And there's
Yeah.
also a selectmen's meeting that night, so public hearing at 5,
We better do 4.
4 o'clock,
Four.
public hearing,
5
o'clock
for the special town meeting and 6 for our meeting.
When is this, May?
May
Five.
1st.
4 o'clock.
May 1st?
Welcome aboard, buddy. Are you kidding? This is consolidated. You should see what we
This is
used
why
to,
we
they used to
should've
do
got the
before we got
branches.
there, right, Dan? I was the first one that ever had a 35-minute meeting.
no, I think that's.
Actually, I think.
That's who?
I think,
Dan
Mr.
beat me after
Mr.
that.
Dan
First
did,
one.
yes.
I'm all good with that, is everybody else?
That's
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
change, was what we just
Thank
added
you,
F.
Felicia.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm
Yeah.
changing, okay?
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Felicia.
I don't know if we're gonna have, is the next town, you said there's one in
March
20th?
20th.
I can't be here for that,
So
so,
we're just done to
but
go
that's
skipping to May
all we need.
1st.
okay,
I
I'm
don't know
just,
about all this thing
Oh,
about
you
the
gotta be here, because
Constitution
we're gonna
and
throw
all.
you under.
yeah, well,
We get
go
thrown under
ahead,
the
but
bus.
that week I'll be gone, I'll be back on May 1st for certain, and I'll bring 24 friends.
That's what you need.
gotta have-
5 o'clock.
Well,
There you go.
Gotta have 24, that's for sure.
You better do 5 altogether.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Felicia.
Well, we can actually, we can accept it to present to the
For the
town.
article.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So make a motion to accept the ordinance as written with the
Yeah.
exception of
Amendments. Yeah, the additions.
addition F,
Yes.
Addition F.
subchapter F or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Is there a second? I forgot, I didn't get a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Jason, I don't know, I didn't make the motion.
Okay, appoint Fish Warden.
Shellfish warden.
Yeah.
Reappoint Shellfish Warden, not here.
Make that a motion.
I'll second it.
I'm in favor.
It just has to be done annually, that's
All
all.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, All right. Those.
Oh, I don't wanna do that.
All righty.
Sign a county tax.
It's not supposed to be too bad, I don't think.
No, I know it's what's going down.
All right, Gary, you're on the hot seat.
You gotta have it
You
running.
have to come over here because we're taping, you're on camera.
You guys got in front of you the updates from November, what we
I
have.
think I forgot to put 'em in.
I don't have it.
All right, hold on
Yes,
just a
you
minute.
do.
My fault.
We thought we were gonna have a short
Technical,
meeting tonight.
no, we never thought that.
Yeah.
Did you read the agenda?
Okay, this is the
Yeah, all kinds of
shellfish
things.
warden.
No, I knew there wasn't a facility.
Yeah.
And the assessors meeting went really quickly.
I just wanna know what people might be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we may be,
You got
we
anything juicy
may
written?
pass it down. We may be about
Take one. Hey, never mind now. No, never mind.
Never mind.
Don't be a lawyer and read into
It's-
stuff too deep.
It's superseding everything else.
All right then.
Yeah.
Is there
I
enough?
will listen to you,
We
Joanne.
thought that food over lettuce, if that's so complicated.
Might get you in trouble.
No kidding.
And here's another handout. Take one down.
There should be another one.
There's just one, or there's two?
I got two.
And then third.
Yeah.
And, third.
This is when it all started.
If you go back, there's high blood pressure up.
Really?
What's
I know it didn't work.
Take one,
Highs of
pass it down.
50s, about a point.
Really?
Take one, this is just this report.
With the one-side roof.
Okay, Gary, we're all papered up now.
Yeah, now
We on the same page?
Yeah.
Pages.
Depends what page you start on.
The one with the select board updates.
Oh,
Okay.
You can see there, we have a couple letters that you guys have got, that we got response back from a couple of the people that we sent to. And, sent a second notice out to the third person. We've been waiting 3 weeks and haven't heard anything back on her yet. So we're still trying to figure out, and that's the one down
Yeah.
there off Pleasant Street.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the one with the raccoon.
This is it.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the attempt to build permits, we've had 3 of them since November turned in and have been approved. Shoreland zoning, we've had 2 of them and they've been approved. Violations, we've had 4 violations since then and we've addressed them. DEP violations, we've had 1 and the state is involved in that and it's out of our hands on that. Due to the weather, we got the one here by the bank. We've, and they live in Bangor, it's kind of hard for them to come down, so we
Yes.
extended them for the weather.
He does seem to be making it up.
Yeah, a little,
He did.
little at a time, he's doing
Extensions.
what he can do.
He took out a good amount.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So
That's
did the
okay,
bank.
extension to the weather, we got it.
So, and then, attorney's letters, the first 2 with the dots is the ones that we've
Yeah.
sent to the attorneys to get something done about. And you guys got a copy of, the first letter.
So us, where's the one for her? Oh, that's okay. So how's that going?
This is her response.
Oh, I see.
From the attorney, this is
Right.
her response. And if you got time to read it, it's pretty much, we like to extend her for the weather, give her a little breathing room.
Yeah.
That's
She
fine.
says by the end of
Oh.
June.
Yeah. Because she didn't know the property was that bad until she had a
Yeah.
contractor and the pictures we sent her.
Oh, well, that was
Did you
good.
get pictures of those raccoons and the possums and stuff like that? Pity.
This is a different house.
This
Oh.
is the one out on
Those are
Dory.
awesome.
This is out on Doherty.
There's
Oh,
They don't want
okay,
possums.
sorry, I'm on the wrong.
Yeah.
Closed. Very nice. Okay, so, very good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're really doing a fantastic job.
And then on the other letter, the one with, out on Straight Bay,
Joel's here.
Joe is here, and we've talked on the phone, and he stated he did put a tarp on the front, but it was blowing out into the road. We.
Yeah, he
need to see
did, I did see the pattern on there, yeah.
You
What,
can't do much in the middle of the winter like that.
yeah, so that's what we need to do, because it's already went to the attorney, and they've already contacted the 2 people. We got to be okay with it, to send them a letter saying that we okayed it for the weather
For
to.
extension.
Yeah.
To when?
Extension.
To when, like May 30th or something? You have an extension,
I
it's a
don't
good
think-
idea to have an extension
Joel.
date.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, May's not, that is not enough time.
That's not enough time.
I never intended for it to be there in the first place.
No.
And in fact, I was counseled to leave it where it was because we thought we was gonna take it to litigation. As it is now, it seems like it costs more money than what it, than what we get back in return. As soon as the weather clears up, I'm gonna knock 12 feet off the front of it, level it up and use it as storage. I've already bought the materials. So as long as you guys can give me a little bit of time, I'll get down as soon as the weather clears up. I apologize for, I know it's close to the road and it's,
Would you get going by, say, June?
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
How does that
So you're saying, so.
We just need to somehow get the front covered to keep somebody from falling
So
in, or
you
kids
make
out
it,
playing
you
around.
have some sort of date, because if you don't have a date, then you don't have
I
anything
would
to
say
go by.
nothing to
June
go by.
30th?
But-
June
but-
30th.
Yeah.
June 30th?
Oh, yeah, but
Okay, so here you want to
If you
follow
get it
up?
done sooner,
follow
just let
up,
us know.
But both people need the same date.
Yeah.
One needs,
Well,
the lady needs June 8th, June
You
30th.
got a hell of a set of cards with that thing.
well, you know,
She said
I
June
talked to
30th,
the
yeah.
fellow
Okay,
about
June
coming
30th.
and trying to
Yeah,
help
sounds
me,
good.
he was in no position to work
So
with
we'll
me
just
at
do
all,
June
so.
30th.
Is this weather gonna be over by June 30th?
Well, we're not
Stop
sure.
that.
We're gonna have
Stop
like piles of
We just
snow.
got started.
Okay,
Don't say it.
I'll get the 2 letters done up tomorrow and get them sent out. The other person was supposed to be here, I talked to her Tuesday, yesterday, she was gonna try to come down, but evidently she didn't make it.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Okay.
Good job. All right, now for the fun and exciting increase in the sewer rates. We don't have any protesters. Oh, we have Peter here, he wants to hear about the sewer rate increase, right?
Actually,
You don't,
I would like to hear from Mr. Boyce.
I was thinking I
He's
would
very,
too.
very knowledgeable on the subject.
I figured it'd be helpful to present with the last 2 audits. And that's kind of what really got me interested in this whole subject, and seeing that
Didn't
great
you
big
figure out
deficit.
why it was so much bigger? There
Yeah,
was a reason.
Now,
Well,
Renee was,
Appreciation was not.
he might want to
it's in the town book.
Okay.
It's been it's a hot topic lately, especially when the Oliver Associates came down after they had presented their evaluation of everything. They certainly found that our sewer rates are very outdated and they have never been increased ever. With all the increases, the sewer department is not tax-based. The operation and maintenance is not taxpayer funded at all. It is from the user fee.
Well,
And
well, I have to
according-
just stop you there, that it was voted on by the town, not that we're not, I'm not gonna be for the increase, but the whole sewer
Debt.
debt.
I didn't say debt, I said the operation.
Well,
has
plus
been
last
from the user
year,
fees.
plus
Right.
last year, we took 25,000
That is,
from all the
That's for the
taxpayers,
upgrade.
wasn't it?
Yes.
And we put it in.
Well, we're
That's
putting
from
it,
the-
we're
Because the
putting
debt
it
was
aside,
paid off.
because the debt was.
Right.
Debt
we're
was
putting,
done.
Correct.
and that was what they were paying
But
for the
the
debt.
operation and
Yeah,
maintenance
yeah,
is coming
you're
from
right.
user fees.
You're
Yes.
absolutely right.
So there is a separate audit in the town annual audit for the sewer, and you can see that you have 2 different years there. Our auditor includes the depreciation. I didn't, I took that out, and we're still in a deficit. I can explain on the 2018 year, the reason for such a huge deficit is she has to account for all expenditure of all money. There was money spent out of reserves, so that helped, but we're still not operating at where we should be.
Yeah.
Even the town of city, and once Peter speaks, I know he'll, the city of Callis, their minimum quarterly rates are $120, I believe.
Yeah, Renee, I know you've talked about this, we talked about this previously, and it's, My feeling is it's a hard pill to
It's a
swallow,
long
but
time
we've got to do
overdue.
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're
that's
right.
all there is to it, so it's silly to quibble about it.
Right.
We're behind the times, we're gonna get nailed for this, we'll probably get lots of people arguing, but that's the way it is.
There is another
Yeah.
page in your packet that shows the current rates. I found this on the computer in there. I removed the debt. It's broken down on the left-hand side of your page, what portion of your payment would be for the debt and what portion would be operation and maintenance. We no longer have debt, so your complete payment goes
Yeah.
to operation and
But we
maintenance.
should be taking the debt percentage out for matching funds for the millions of dollars of grants we need to buy the sewer, so you can't just put it all in there.
Yeah.
You'll have to set aside some money, I think, for debt, or you have to do a line item for in the annual meeting from the taxpayers for another $25,000. And that's when I would like Peter to speak.
So I'm proposing, one more thing, I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
I'm proposing to raise it $20.
Yeah,
That's it.
and that's my,
$20.
my
$20
sense
per
is that when
quarter.
this is all done, when tonight, after tonight,
The minimum.
we should have informational sheets for the public that are right out there, because I think you're gonna have people coming in haranguing.
I need to
Can we talk-
continue.
Let Peter talk to me.
One more thing, I need to say something. It is that I need to have this decision, I'd like to have this decision tonight,
Sure.
because I'd like to have an insert for the for this billing, and we're working on billing this week. The
Yeah.
sewer bills will be going out this week,
Well, here's,
and I'd like to raise it by
Yes.
June and give the
Yeah, got
public
it.
at least from now till June to prepare.
so here's what
So that's
we
the
do.
last
We
thing I'll
make a
say.
motion, a second, and then we go into discussion, and we don't vote till the discussion. I do think the public needed to know.
Yeah.
Because
What kind of a motion?
we need a motion to raise it $20, second.
I move that we raise it $20 per quarter.
Second.
What percent increase is this? That's all I'm asking.
Well, this isn't gonna, we're not voting, we're just doing a motion and a second, and it goes to
Okay,
discussion.
okay.
Like they officially normally do.
Okay.
Okay.
So we really need a motion second to even discuss it if we're
Yeah.
doing
We're good.
Robert's
So
rules.
we second, all those.
Okay. Peter. Go ahead with your time.
Well,
Joanne.
just a little bit of history. This whole thing was passed by the town to have it in the first place and guaranteed that it was self-sufficient. Well, it never has been. Way back when I was on the board, we were slipping money in all the time, taxpayers' money, because it just was not making it. And then, a few years ago, it was voted on for the town to pay the debt service. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Yes.
And, but the problem is, we are just about the cheapest in the state, according to that report from Oliver, is that their name?
Oliver.
Yeah. And that's really bad. And the other thing that I've been told, I don't know how true this is, but by the fact that our rates are so low that the state or the governing authorities won't give us any money in case we have to spend a lot of money on the plant down there.
Yeah.
And we really shouldn't be at the cheapest. We should be somewhere up in the middle. I looked over a lot of other plants or a lot of other sewers. I looked at Eastport, Machias, Ellsworth, Rockport. I looked at Stonington and others. But it's very, very hard to compare those because they have different types of plants. They have, everything is different. Some of them bill monthly, some of them bill quarterly, you know. But the best thing is that list that Renee gave you about what every town, it isn't every town, but it's a lot of the towns in Maine, what they charge. So I guess what I'm saying, don't try to figure out what Machias or one of those outfits is charging and compare it to us, because it's really, you don't know all the little bit things.
It's got to be, and it's a real problem because you've got the infrastructure in this town is being assaulted by non-usage. The sewer is way down, you know, factories are gone and so forth. The amount of electricity, I see EMRA is gone in for an increase. Well, it's got to, because they just don't have, they're not selling enough electrons, what it amounts to.
Don't have the numbers.
You don't have the numbers. And then the water company has just had an
13.1.
Same thing. There's not enough usage. So I don't know how we get around that, but it's going to be more and more expensive living in these small towns.
And Pete, the cost too, I mean, of all the chemicals,
Yeah.
they've gone up, correct?
Oh, yeah, and labor's going up.
Now, Eastport is one of the closest.
Yeah.
Our plants, right?
Yep,
I
I got it right here. Eastport charges $84 a quarter for 1,200 cubic feet. Okay, we charge $56 for 900 cubic feet. So you, and then after that, we charge 6.2 cents a cubic foot, and Eastport charges 7.2 cents. Now you got Machias, I don't know what their base is, but they charge 9 cents. Ellsworth is 9.24 cents. Rockport is 10 cents, 10.10 cents. Anyway, those are ones that I found, but it's not easy. I look, like I say, Castine is really expensive, but it's not comparable with Lubec because they got the school there and all of that. And
The numbers,
My question would just be bottom line, just so you know the full spectrum here, similar to what we were talking about with mooring and paying for the crane and lots of stuff. How much, what dollar, I won't even say how much, what quarterly dollar figure would it be to have it salvageable? I mean, being like, if it's costing $10, you know, what is the bottom line to make the ledger equal, if we were to do that? Is it that figure?
Yes, it's that close to it. I called Mandy Alber for advice on what to raise it. And my first suggestion was 66.10, and she was in favor of that. But then when I did the numbers of the deficit, it's more feasible to be at 76.10.
and so I'm happy with that, right?
Yes,
So what number are you,
76.10.
Per quarter, 35
To raise it from
46%.
now, in terms of also getting potential grant and funding,
Depends on our
if we're
survey.
gonna rip the Band-Aid off,
Right.
would it be
That's
another
why I
couple
called
cents
her. No.
to then put the extra in, or is it, I mean, because it's two half of the other.
Yeah.
But
she
to
couldn't
some
answer
discussion
that.
that came on the
I
last
tried
budget
that.
is you're also asking some taxpayers who do not benefit from this.
a lot of
Source.
taxpayers.
Correct.
Yes.
So you've got them, first of all, they paid for the last 25 years to have it done, and the salaries and the bid to put the whole thing in. You're then asking them again to supplement. So do we do that, which is kind of what we did last year by popping into 25? Or do we say, if we're gonna go with 78 cents, why don't we go with 82 cents, or whatever it is? And,
I tried to get that, but she couldn't answer. It was too,
well, I don't know if that's,
yeah.
I don't know if that's for her to answer, that's
I
what,
think
I
we just
think it's a town
revisit it
answer.
next year. We do $20 this year, which is enough jump for.
You were asking to find out if that was enough
I
to open
think-
us up for the grants, right?
You're right.
Well, not just the
graduation.
grants, but
I
it's
don't
enough
like
that it
the
balances
idea,
the
but
ledger.
you gotta get it through the public.
Because if it's not balancing the ledger at least, then we're.
I think we
Yeah,
probably
be
start with
progress.
20, and if we can
Yes,
figure out, well, first of all, we need this community survey, because it's based on percentage of medium gross income, or net income, I don't know if it's net or gross, in the
Yeah.
community, and it has to be a certain figure to get this, like, $1 million grant,
Yeah.
but we're not just gonna jump to that, I think we go with $20, and if we have to do another 8 or 10, we do, or whatever.
This is simply to get
What
us
is
above
the
the black.
median,
Yes,
what is the median income for you to qualify to get a federal grant?
that's not the way, it's like this. Whatever Lubec's medium income is, let's say it's 25,000 a year, it's a certain percentage that the user fee has to fall under to get the grant. It's based on our median income, it's not based on, it's a percentage of our median income.
Now,
And if our sewer bill is below that median income, which it was when we went to the meeting, we would not qualify for one of the grants.
But now some of the other grants have opened up since
Yes.
an election.
One thing, could I just mention, you mentioned about depreciation. Depreciation is a real cost.
Yeah,
$45,000.
because things get break.
Yeah, I mean,
$45,000.
that's
Right.
Well, people,
due
that's
to
really
usage,
great.
that's what the
We're down.
machinery has gone
That's
down
right.
in value.
Right.
Right.
You know, so it's a
But
real,
it's not physical
cost.
money, so
Huh?
I took it out of what we're talking about tonight.
yeah, but you've got to keep it in
Yeah,
to figure your cost. It's
Yeah.
a real
but
cost.
I'm hoping the
Even though it's
grants,
not cash right
But
up front.
part of our argument for that grant is this fact,
yes,
and it's a big fact.
Yeah.
It's 50% of our bill
that's
is that depreciation,
Yeah.
that 45,000. So you've got, that's a big argument for these grants, is, if we have this money to upgrade our system, our depreciation cuts, out.
That's right, it's significantly lower than the
So,
first 10
I mean,
years.
that's a big argument for our grants.
and Eastport just
So-
got it.
But we need that median income, Carol, has got to be
That's right.
lowered.
Because it's at
remember we
33 now.
were talking
It's
about.
33,000.
It's crazy.
No, we have
Yeah.
another community survey that must be done, they've been emailing us. So
'Cause that
there's a
is,
new
I
one,
mean,
there's a
that's
new one
slitting our
coming out.
throat
Oh,
right
you
now.
mean for the census, okay.
Yeah,
Renee,
yes.
what, last 2 years, how much was that in the hole down there?
Not much, wasn't much.
54,000,
It says
wasn't
right
it,
here.
in 2017?
Well, that's because nobody was looking at depreciation. We sat there on the budget committee and
Yeah,
looked
but-
at costs.
If you don't look at
Depreciation-
depreciation, it's
Depreciation
about
was not in
10,000.
it. Nobody has these,
That's last year,
nobody
2 years
has
ago.
this audit during
What
the
was last
budget
year's?
season.
No,
That's
and
the
and
problem.
that is, I mean, that explains it out really well.
Yeah, is the depreciation
I,
that wasn't
we
taken
have
in.
to do this. We have to do this.
You have the sole authority.
Yeah.
It's in the ordinance, the
Yeah.
select board is
Oh,
the
goody.
sole.
I think we have to do it. I vote that we do this.
Joanne asked what
Yeah.
percent
Well, we're
increase,
gonna have to vote, and we're gonna vote
35.65.
Let's go 35.65% increase is
Yeah.
what it is. And we all got the Amira letters
It's just
today.
sad that it's
Yes.
happening at the same time with the water company.
Yeah,
And what
it's-
about the electric?
And the
I know,
electric.
and the electric
And
company.
they all the
And it's
PUCs.
just coming up to tax time. Wonderful.
But the big problem is, I know you take a ride around town right now, there's nobody living in these houses. And, very few, and that's a killer.
They're all
Yeah.
getting billed the minimum.
Although, I'll tell you, Peter, on the other hand, I see houses being, there were a few years ago, I was the only house on Main Street, I mean, only occupied up, and it's now, they're moving in.
But you have the nursing home.
Yeah, the
That
nursing
was
home
a
is
big
gone.
one.
You
That's a
have
big
all the
loss.
factories that are gone.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is just, I mean, a lot of usage that's
No,
not.
what I
being-
worry about is that
utilized.
the people who are buying houses here and who are moving into town are really gonna skew this median income. We'll never get down to her.
See, we have the
The
biggest user
survey,
now.
the survey
What?
has to be on full-time residents, otherwise they're supposed to be taking the survey where their homesteaded residence is. It's not supposed to
Your-
affect us.
yeah, okay, your full-time residents now are going to be retired couples. I mean, that's building up in this town. And retired couples are gonna be above that median income.
What
I
about
don't
just
know
get the
about
funding
that.
for the
I
plan?
don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not sure either,
I'm
because
not
it goes
sure
on
about
adjusted
that.
gross
Working
income, not on
families.
what you've saved in your
Yes.
Well, that's
IRA.
why we need broadband. I couldn't bring it up.
No, we need
Yeah,
to
we
have
do.
this
Yeah.
median income be working families,
Yes.
working.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
So let's vote. do we have any, all in favor of raising the sewer bill $20 a
And this
quarter?
gets
I move that we
The
raise
ledgers.
the bill.
magic.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
This gets
No,
the
this
ledger
doesn't,
magic.
no.
The
this
motion
doesn't-
was already
It's
on,
not
you
yet,
Yeah.
it may not be high
just
enough.
have to vote on it.
This is for what we're doing for the
I'd all
year.
listen to Joanne, you're the biggest
It may
user,
like
what do
be
you?
120.
Yeah.
Second?
You gotta have a
gotta do it.
Band-Aid on this.
Yeah.
Who's
I
got
mean,
the second?
It's only a Band-Aid right now.
Yeah.
Did we get a second?
The only solution
Oh,
is to
sorry, we have a
try to get
motion and
this
second.
money
We're
So
just
you-
voting.
and redo the system.
All in favor?
All in favor?
The whole system was underutilized right from the minute that it was
Those
built.
opposed?
Wasn't it, Peter?
We're voting, those opposed?
Are you opposed?
No,
She voted for it.
no, I voted for it.
Did you vote for it?
Is this group tired
Are you-
tonight?
what did you do?
Well,
We've been
we had
here
a long
since
one
4
tonight.
o'clock.
You can't abstain, you have to vote yes or no.
He's against
You
it.
can't.
You are for real?
He's against it.
Oh,
As I
you can-
said,
You can only
this is a
recuse
hard
yourself
pill
if
to
you have a
swallow.
vested interest. That's
Well,
like,
we gotta do.
wait a minute, my bill is going up. No.
Mine is.
Yeah, hers
Yeah,
is-
all our bills are going up. I feel for people who don't have a sewer
I got a headache.
in their, and they're still gonna pay the sewer.
What is this?
Well,
It's
and that's always been a problem.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's all right, can we,
you
hey,
know?
let's get done. Stop, everybody wants to back. Assessor's return. Where's the figure? Oh, okay, got it. Pursuant to a warrant to us directed by Betsy Fitzgerald, County Manager for the Washington County, dated February 7, 2019, we have assessed the poles and estates of the inhabitants and the estates of the non-resident proprietors of the town of Lubec and the county of Washington, the sum of $292,243, and have committed lists thereof to Suzette Francis, collector of said municipality, for the warrant on due form of law for collecting and paying the same to Suzette Francis, treasurer of the town of Lubec. So, we have to sign this.
Make a motion to sign it.
We done with the sewer?
I'll second it.
We're down to the sewer.
Yeah,
Thank you, Peter.
You look flushed.
All in favor?
Good evening.
You,
All in favor?
Peter, you have the honor of being called our drain brain
Peter,
tonight.
yes. Drain brain. All in favor? Where'd Dave go?
I'm favor.
Okay, we only need 3 of them apparently.
Who seconded?
Thank you, Pete.
I did.
You're welcome.
And this is actually in the assessment.
So last year's county tax was 300,000 something, so it went
Okay,
down
pick.
due to the valuation.
That's,
We lost PFAS, we lost,
Yeah.
no other business.
I think that's.
Other
Oh, wait, I
business?
had other stuff, I just had some
I
announcements.
think it's in there, it's.
Now we need to go in.
Yeah.
Serious.
Oh, my word. Okay, what is,
Anyone have last word, her?
Okay, let's get done.
No,
done?
no, you gotta sign this is other business. That's the letter for the holiday.
Okay, we have a letter going out and just reminding the solid waste haulers to please not do any clean outs.
Do they need to sign it down there or you got enough there?
No, there's only 3 people.
Okay. What do we got now?
It just goes to the haulers that this is a friendly reminder saying that the solid waste haulers, the town of Lubec, that Lubec voters pass an amendment defining clean outs. The town of Lubec will not pay for clean outs. It's just a reminder. So I need a motion to sign this letter.
So moved.
All in favor? Second. Joanne? Dan?
Yes, dear,
Dan?
yes.
Dan? Oh, okay. All in favor?
You cannot sign this.
Yeah, you realize you can sign this.
Okay, well, great.
Yeah, you
Cat hair?
No, we can't.
What a surprise.
Oh, your baby's still outside.
I know he is, I've gotta get out of here, I got poor Mario.
No.
Maybe.
Okay, we don't think you are a conflict of interest because you're a selectman and you're getting the letter too. But he can't
No,
sign his own letter.
No, it was for that.
Oh, that's right, not you. Okay, we sent it to you.
Seconded.
No.
Okay,
So there's just one letter. Oh, we need to sign all of them?
yes,
This-
four.
Oh,
You can just
these?
make a copy. You just need to make
No,
a
because
copy.
they're.
Oh, they're all different. Oh, okay. All right.
Because
I'll do
it
this
was
quickly.
messages.
You are.
No, there were messages of the people. Oh, here we go. So while you're signing that, let me make my little announcement. We had a CPA come in today in the town of Lubec that received a very official looking notice from a tax processing center, tax enforcement department, internal processing service for Washington County, public judgment records. It's a very official looking letter saying that if they didn't pay in full $74,418, they would lose their main driver's license and they would also lose their US passport. Obviously, it's a scam.
Oh, we need to
I
tell
wanted to
people
let,
this.
that's what I'm, yeah.
You need to
letting
put this on
people-
Lubec Community Bulletin.
It
Yeah.
is
Good.
already. Mr. Eaton brought this into us. He put it on the
Oh, see
Lubec.
that?
I
Yeah.
emailed it to the sheriff and the chief deputy. They both appreciated it so that they could see what it looks like and that people can be scammed by these things. It looks so real.
Yes.
So, I wanted to announce that to people.
Oh, poor darling, yeah, that's a scary.
Uh,
See, the robocalls have
Oh.
increased everything.
Oh, my goodness.
And one last thing,
Three
this
or
is a
four
bit
a
of
night.
good news on the LED streetlight conversion from all the Lubec lights are being updated by Emera. They have already started and
Boy, have they.
they've
What was
got a
their
lot of the
change?
downtown.
Because we brought this up a couple of years ago, and we
Yeah.
asked them,
Yeah, they wouldn't do it,
and they wouldn't do it.
but now they are for free, so I'm not complaining.
Eh, what's behind that?
You'll have to discuss that
Their
with
rate
Alvin
increase
also.
that we all got notified of.
Yeah.
And that's all for me tonight.
Okay. Well, if I lose them, I'm just gonna go get another cat, that's all.
You gotta do the last one.
I know, we forgot to do the,
Have I got them all? Have I got them all?
Yeah.
isn't that wild?
You're getting more and more clever, aren't you?
It's
I
kinda
know,
scary.
There's
There's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
going on the email about like your license plates are ready.
Sign.
Yeah.
I've been getting that, I get phone,
Tax processing instead of
I
the
get phone calls
Was it you
all
who
the
said
time.
that Janet Mills is
Of course, it
on to
doesn't have
this
zip
now, that
code,
there's
right?
some
They
big,
don't probably know it.
she's aware of these robocalls and there's some big
No, it's
crackdown.
federal
They're
government,
in
it's been on the news
California.
that they're trying to work on it, I don't know if it's state, I think it's federal, but
Well,
might be
that
state
number.
as well. Yes, I think it was on the local news.
Yeah.
They're trying to crack down on the robocalls,
Yeah.
especially the ones coming
Yeah.
from local phone numbers.
That's right, Barbara Fraser said she got a robocall from her own number.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Do you want to
Yeah.
do committee
Oh, yeah.
updates?
I got one from Annabelle.
But we should,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I don't
Yeah.
feel good.
I can run through this real quick if everybody wants me to. I've got a shellfish committee meeting for March 7th,
It's tomorrow night because of the snow Monday,
Right.
tomorrow at 6.
harbor board, March 18th at 6.
And so is Safe Harbor at 5, right before the harbor board on the 18th.
Downey CMS is March 18th,
March 18th.
4:30, Penny
Revolving
Banks Hall.
loan is
April
April
2nd,
1st. They're moving it to Monday.
It's an April Fool's Day.
that's my birthday.
Oh.
Oh.
What, where else would I wanna be on my birthday but at a revolving loan?
And you're gonna be 35, right?
Yeah.
Recycling's not till April.
Not till April.
Long time ago.
First, June?
Yeah?
My Jenny
Economic
is.
development, we're waiting to round up all the cats, you know, to
Safe harbor.
get them. in.
Planning board, March 19th, and I don't
I
know
got
about
7 years on you.
That's a motion to adjourn.
Look, I make a
comment.
note that-
Oh, one comment.
Public comment.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
God, yes.
May
I
we
just
vote
wanted
you
to
on
observe, the conversation regarding the sewer increase is extremely complex.
Yes.
I am already post-deadline for the upcoming edition. There's no way I can cover that properly, so what I'm going to do is to just make reference to it in the article that you see on Friday, and then I'll do a bigger article for the following
Would
issue
all help us.
that tries to explain the issue, okay?
Thank you, John.
So don't come back at me this Friday
Right, yeah,
saying,
you should probably spend a little
unfortunately,
time
I
on the
will.
whole thing.
I will.
That makes sense.
I'll point out that it's coming.
Yes, I think so.
Motion to adjourn?
No.
I can't do that tonight.
No, the tags, that'll help.
Second.
They're holding the presents for me.
I don't know.
I gotta.
Are we unplugged?
Oh, well.
All right.
The question I always had with the.
Oh, thank you.
Better hire Will.
Oh, check with Mario, Mario. I know, you gotta get your baby.
20 years when it was 50.
All
I
right.
gotta go check somebody 300 pounds.
Believe me, I went home and I